Hello everyone, Luxley here and I'm back with another coronavirus video. I did start this video on Friday the 13th yesterday. Hello everyone, it is Friday the 13th. And this video is going to be a complete mess, a bit of a mix, a bit of a long one because last night I had a bit of a headache and I was waiting till 1:30 AM China time for the Italy updates to come in and decided, you know what, I can't do it. So I went to bed early and now I'm recording the video today. And I've decided at the same time I'm going to change the recording schedule. So I'm going to upload the videos in the morning to lunchtime China time, so I don't need to have these late nights as I've been having recently. Oh, it's been killing me. Anyway, the numbers as of right now: 145,682 confirmed cases of the coronavirus worldwide, 5,436 deaths. Italy, yesterday, the numbers are all updated now, so I can't see. Let me just get that picture that I took. 1 second. Right, so Italy yesterday had a jump of 2,547 cases and their numbers stand right now at 17,660 cases confirmed with 1,266 deaths. They're about half of the deaths that they had in China. So can you imagine that? Just 2 weeks ago, Italy wasn't really that interested, and within 2 weeks, almost half of the total deaths that China had. The UK right now has a total of 798 cases, same as yesterday. I think the numbers from yesterday are pretty okay. Let me just put that in right here. Italy today recorded the most new cases with 2,547 new cases. I think that could be the most they've recorded in a single day so far, followed by Iran with 1,289 new cases today. Spain not far behind with 1,188 cases today. Now that is a surprise. And Germany with 736 new cases. So the UK added an extra 208 cases. The UK right now is in the top 6 for new cases. I think the UK right now is about a week behind Spain and Germany, and maybe 2 to 3 weeks behind Italy. But at the rate things are going, if people don't change their attitudes and their habits, the UK will catch up very soon. Kids don't get it, so schools won't be closed. Schools will remain open because kids don't get the coronavirus. Yeah, that's what we've been hearing a lot of. This is a rumor. Kids can get it. Kids do get the virus. They get the virus. Kids can be infected in the same way as everybody else. The major difference is kids generally so far haven't been showing the same symptoms. So they have the virus, it's in their bodies, they can pass it on to other people the same as everybody else. But for some reason, we don't know yet because the science isn't there yet, but the kids just don't seem to show the same symptoms. They're not getting that aggressive pneumonia. They might have a slight fever, a slight cough, but they're not expressing it in the same way as the adults and the older people. So it's stupid to say that kids don't get it, so schools will stay open. Kids will get it, and they do get it. And they'll take it home and pass it on to the grandparents, and the grandparents are going to suffer as a result of this. And is this part of the reason why the UK schools are staying open as well? Or is the UK more worried about free school dinners? I saw a report on the news about how they're so concerned about closing the schools because what will the kids do about not getting their free school lunch? And I was just thinking to myself, kids get infected, take the virus to all the teachers, the teachers get infected, take the virus to their families. The kids also who are infected take the virus back home to their families and their grandparents, and the virus spreads like crazy all around the country. Just for the sake of free school dinners? Are you serious? The world leaders are trying not to create a panic, which I can completely understand. There's 2 things, right? 2, that's 4. You don't create a panic early by not telling people the truth. And then later, you create a panic anyway because the truth is evident and everyone around is dropping dead in the streets. So at which point do you think it's best to create the panic? Because it's going to happen anyway. People are going to panic, and they are. As you can see, people are buying up the toilet paper and everything. Create the panic early when there's a chance that people aren't going to die, or create the panic at the same time when people are dropping dead in the streets. I think it's better to do it early. If people are going to panic, they're going to panic. You can't prevent people from panicking. Just tell them early and people can have time to stock up. Maybe the supermarkets will run out of food early, fine. But then, because we're in the early stages and people aren't dying yet, the supermarkets will have time to restock and get their stock back up and running. So there's still time before people are dropping in the streets for people to buy their supplies, buy the essentials that they need. And then people can just continue to panic anyway like they would have done when they start to see people around them dropping dead. So I have to disagree with the governments when they're trying to prevent panic. People are panicking anyway. Just give them the information so they know what they're dealing with. In the UK now, only the most seriously ill will be tested for the coronavirus. That in itself is ridiculous. I think people need to start thinking really hard about how they live their lives. And this has made me feel like, yeah, we all need to have enough savings so that we can survive for, 3 to 6 months without work. Because the way I see this, I just see it as like, the government is not taking the right steps, people are getting infected, and people are still going into work because they need to work, they need to have
I can't check the weather that far ahead, but here's the Beijing forecast for the next 10 days.
What are you talking about? I did not... Siri. Anyway, right, so people are still going into work because they feel they need to because of money, but at the same time they're risking their own life because of a government guideline. So I feel like I'm glad right now I'm in China where I'm not working, so I can have that choice to stay inside if I want to and just not go out and see my friends and not go, not expose myself. And to be honest, a lot of people are just doing this anyway. I haven't spoken to some people for so long during this outbreak just because everyone is just at home. Everyone is just like, well, fine, you know what? There's an outbreak, I'm not going out anywhere, I'm just gonna chill. And people have just been staying at home, keeping themselves to themselves. We can survive because cost of living is so low, and plus Hillary's still getting her full salary, so that helps. But there are a lot of people out there who will see a reduction in their salary to a basic level. I think for Beijing, the basic level is like 100 and something pounds per month. So some people will only be getting that per month from their companies, as the government has required the companies to keep paying their basic salary. So 100 and something pounds per month, and you still got to go to the supermarket to buy stuff. It's not a lot, so you need to have some kind of savings as a backup, I think, and this will be a wake-up call for a lot of people. Have some savings. Recovered patients of the coronavirus will still have some permanent lung damage, so just try not to get infected, because even if you recover, the lung damage is permanent. Still can't believe it. I'm still seeing news reports about face masks not working, and if that's the case, why don't people just think, look around the world. Look at every single doctor on the front line dealing with the coronavirus and tell me, are they wearing masks or not? What are the doctors complaining about? They haven't got enough masks. They haven't got enough protective equipment. They always mention masks. If the masks don't work, tell the doctors to stop wearing them. If you're so confident they don't work, just tell the doctors to stop wearing them. Set the example, right?
If you do not have any respiratory symptoms such as fever, cough, or runny nose, you do not need to wear a medical mask like this one. Mask alone can give you a false feeling of protection and can even be a source of infection when not used correctly. Masks should only be used by healthcare workers, caretakers, or by people who are sick with symptoms of fever and cough. Why? Because healthcare workers and caretakers are in close contact with ill individuals, so they're at higher risk of catching COVID-19.
I don't know if you noticed, Xi Jinping, he didn't go to Wuhan until the virus was under control. So he stayed well away from the epicenter, and every time you saw him, he was wearing a face mask. But because other parts of the world aren't used to wearing face masks, because the air is generally good and you don't really see people wearing face masks. It's a very Asian thing to wear face masks, and China in particular with the air pollution. So a lot of people here are just used to wearing face masks. If the air is bad outside, you wear a face mask and no one thinks anything of it. It's just, oh yeah, the air pollution today. So when it comes to a problem like this where face masks can help, people here are just used to it and most people will just wear a face mask. Other countries that I'm seeing, this face mask thing is completely alien to them because there hasn't been a time when it's been needed for so long. So even doctors and leaders now are ignoring this very basic thing that everyone can do to help themselves. They're still repeating the wash your hands thing, but why only wash your hands if you could wash your hands and wear a face mask, Donald Trump had a speech where he said the EU had failed in containing the virus, and that's why he's stopping the flights from the EU countries in the Schengen area. But to be honest, if you look at the spread from Italy and then to Spain and France and Germany, and now creeping into the UK, it's just a spread that's naturally going to happen in the UK. The UK is going to be as bad as Italy within 2 weeks. So Trump, if he's going to stop travel, stop travel. Don't just pick and choose random countries and say stopping travel from there. It's stupid, and people can take indirect flights. You just transfer in the UK or fly to any other country that hasn't had a travel ban and then fly from there to the US. What's the point? If you're stopping travel, just stop travel. And another thing that I'm seeing quite a lot of is countries around the world announcing that they're stopping gatherings of like random numbers, like based on absolutely nothing. 500 people, 200 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. What's the point? It takes one person to be infected, infect 10 people in that crowd, and then those 10 people go to 10 more different public events or schools, infect another 10 people, and you can see how it's just going to keep going. If you're stopping gatherings, then just close places down instead. You can't just say we're going to stop gatherings of 75 or more because 75 is a magic number. What the? Just stop gatherings altogether. Stop them all. Make people stay home. Close the places that they would have gone to. Close the restaurants, the bars, the cafes. Leave the supermarkets open because we've got no choice about that. We need to eat. But everything else can be closed down. If you want to take it seriously and contain the virus. If you're just throwing random stuff, let's just say, I think the betting shops, the betting shops should close for the weekend. That will contain the virus. I hate to be so negative in these videos, but I'm not seeing a lot of positive stuff happening around the world when it comes to the coronavirus. If someone wants to leave me a comment and tell me where in the world something good, something great has happened in relation to the coronavirus, a government policy or something like that, then feel free to let me know because I'm missing out on all the good stuff. So let me know what your thoughts are on what is happening on the ground where you are, your workplace, your home, your school, your college, whatever it is. What is happening with the coronavirus where you are? How are you being affected? And what do you feel about it right now? Based on what I'm seeing from the UK and the general public, and including friends and family and stuff like that, is that it's not being taken seriously. Workplaces are still open. We've seen this spread in Wuhan in China. I mean, Wuhan went on lockdown back in January. It went on full lockdown in January. And people say that they lied about the numbers. 80,000 people, that's a lot of people. Even if they lied about it, that's a lot of people. Look at Italy's miles away from that. The rest of the world is still miles away from that, but not locking down. Wuhan locked down before they got to the state that Italy's in right now. I think Wuhan had like a few hundred cases at that time. I'll put the number on the screen. I could be completely wrong, but it was very early on. Wuhan went on complete lockdown. Look at the rest of the world, still open, not wearing face masks, walking around like, yes, no problem, yeah, oh, they're cancelling the football match? Oh, I'm so angry, I bought a ticket. Think about your life. It doesn't matter what you think about lockdowns. Lockdowns work. Look at this report on Channel 4 from yesterday. I can't believe it. Lockdowns work. If you think about the UK back in January before it had its first case, if the UK, I know it would have sounded completely stupid and completely silly, but right now the UK would have been laughing at the rest of the world, right? If the UK at that time had went on complete lockdown, meaning no flights in, no trains in, just internal traffic within the UK operating as normal, anything including people from outside stopped, locked off, blocked. Right now, the UK would have 0 cases of the coronavirus because it wouldn't be able to get in. How can people go on TV like yesterday and say that lockdowns don't work? Of course they work. Of course they do. It's so annoying when there are experts going on TV and saying stuff like that. How can lockdowns not work? You're keeping the virus in one spot and not letting it spread. If you're letting it spread, even if you contain it here, it's already got out, and then when you open up here, it's going to come back. Just lock down. Lock down. After recording last night's video, I had a new theory. Taiwan. The rate of infection in Taiwan is really low considering how close it is and how much it relies on China. So it's quite interesting that Taiwan is not allowed into the WHO meetings and stuff like that. And maybe that is exactly the reason why they're doing so well, because they've not been listening to that, I was going to say something else there, they've not been listening to that idiot who's leading the WHO. So maybe that is the reason why they're doing so well at fighting and keeping this coronavirus away. Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, his wife has tested positive for the coronavirus. Did I say that already? So I'm not sure, does that mean that he's also going to be positive? I'm assuming that they live together and that they would have touched the same surfaces and, you know, breathed the same air, probably used the same shower, you know. So I'm assuming that if his wife has it, then he's going to have it. How bad it gets, who knows? But that's what I mean, these world leaders, they need to take it more seriously. You know, what happens when your world leader gets infected by a virus? How does that make the rest of the country look? Especially when it's something that they can definitely be isolated from. They should be kept away from everyone. Everything should be done through telephone and video call. They shouldn't be going anywhere near a virus. Your leader disappears, then what? All professional football has been suspended in the UK until April the 3rd. So that's a great thing for the UK right now. It's a small step, but it's a step nevertheless. They should be cancelling all of the public sporting events and all of the public events right now. Everything should be cancelled until, like, on an ongoing basis until further notice. It shouldn't just be until the 3rd of April. It should be until further notice, because you don't know what it's going to be like on the 3rd of April. Maybe there will be 30,000 cases of coronavirus in the UK by then. Who knows, right? You can't just make a date. You have to say until further notice, I think. But it's still a step in the right direction. And let me just get this straight again with the world leaders, right? Donald Trump, okay? The White House said Donald Trump had no plans to be tested after he met a Brazilian official last week who was diagnosed with COVID-19. It has now emerged that his daughter, Ivanka Trump, recently met the Australian Minister Peter Dutton, who has tested positive. Why are people setting such a great example? You've met someone, you've been in close contact with someone who has been infected. You could be infected even if you're not showing symptoms. You're a world leader and you're refusing to be tested. Makes no sense. Spain has declared a state of emergency. I think the Spanish numbers were just around the UK's numbers now, like last week or the week before, something like that. Spain has gone up quite a lot in the last few days. I'm just thinking when the UK eventually gets there, what will the battle plan be? It seems, from what I'm observing, it just seems that everyone is, it's like a deer in headlights. Everyone's just sort of sitting in the middle of the road, watching from miles away. You can see the headlights. Oh yeah, the headlights are coming. Okay, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. When the car gets here, we're gonna make a run for that fence over there. We're gonna climb over the fence. Yep, it's getting a lot closer. All right, instead of starting now, what we're just gonna do is we're gonna keep having meetings. Yep, you too. We're gonna keep having meetings and we're gonna plan for when the car actually, oh, it's almost here. Right, so when the car gets here, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna climb over that. That's what I feel like when I'm watching the news and seeing what the UK's planning is. And every time I hear the experts going on TV talking about, yes, we have got a process and blah, 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 and I'm just thinking to myself, but nothing's changed. Everyone I'm speaking to back home, it's like life as normal, except for some people are panic buying, but there's like not a lot going on. So I just don't know how I'm gonna feel when I see the news that the UK has passed 10,000 cases, like Italy, and they saw this thing coming from a long time ago, and no one took it seriously until they were being run over by the steamroller. Yeah. Alright, that's all from me. I'm going to leave it here. So, the new schedule for videos. All my videos, I'm going to record them in the daytime. We have miserable neighbours here. They complain about me talking when I'm recording the video, even though I think I'm talking pretty quietly. But they complain in the group chat with like 200 odd people. So, I can't bother to do it at night anymore. And also, staying up late at night to wait for the Italian numbers and then edit the whole video, wait for it to upload, and then, oh, it's just long. So, daytime's better. Alright, that's all from me. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking about the coronavirus. And I'll see you tomorrow, same time. Bye.